Most people waste their entire 20s and don't realize it until they're 35, staring at their life, wondering where the time went. The scary part? You might already be doing it. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happens to your life if you spend your 20s broke, directionless, and doing nothing. Not to scare you, but to show you the actual cost. Because most people don't realize the price they're paying until it's already too late to get a refund. If you're in your 20s right now, this might be the most important 10 minutes you spend today. Here's the first thing nobody tells you about your 20s. You feel like you have forever. You wake up at 22, maybe 23, and everything feels like it's still ahead of you. There's this quiet voice in the back of your head that says, "I've got time. I'll figure it out later. Things will fall into place." And that voice is the most dangerous thing in your life right now. Because time in your 20s doesn't feel expensive, but it is. It's actually the most expensive resource you will ever have, and you're spending it like it's free. Think about it like this. If you put just 200 pounds a month into an index fund at 22, by the time you're 42, at a normal 8% average return, you'd have somewhere around 120,000 pounds, without touching it, without doing anything clever. But if you wait until you're 32 to start, that same 200 pounds a month only gets you about 59,000 pounds by 42. That's a 60,000 pounds difference from 10 years of doing nothing. And that's just money. That doesn't even account for the skills you didn't build, the habits you didn't form, the person you didn't become. Your 20s are not a warm-up. They are the game. And a lot of people are sitting in the car park wondering when kickoff is. Now, when I say doing nothing, I don't mean sitting in a dark room staring at the ceiling. Most people doing nothing look completely normal from the outside. They wake up, scroll for 45 minutes before they even get out of bed. Go to a job they don't care about. Come home, watch Netflix, maybe order food. Scroll again, sleep, repeat. They're busy, but they're not building anything. There's a massive difference between being busy and being productive, between motion and direction. You can spend 3 hours on Instagram and feel like you've done something because you've consumed a lot. But consumption is not progress. It's just passing time with the feeling of stimulation attached to it. And here's the brutal truth. Your brain doesn't care whether you're building a skill or watching a stranger do it on TikTok. It rewards both with dopamine. So you end up feeling like you've had a full day, when really you've just watched other people live theirs. Doing nothing looks like putting off the gym for when I'm less tired. Telling yourself you'll start saving next month. Saying you'll learn that skill when things calm down. Things never calm down. You have to build the discipline to move when it's hard, or you'll spend your life waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. Everyone talks about the compound effect when it comes to money. But nobody talks about it when it comes to your character. Every day you skip the gym, it gets slightly easier to skip it again tomorrow. Every day you choose comfort over discipline. Your tolerance for discomfort gets a little bit lower. Every day you avoid hard conversations, hard decisions, hard work. You become a little more allergic to hardship. And by the time you're 30, you've spent a decade compounding softness. Now flip it. Every day you do the hard thing. It gets marginally easier. Every morning you get up when you don't want to. Your identity as someone who shows up gets a little stronger. Every week you put money away. Your relationship with wealth shifts from scarcity to ownership. You don't need to transform overnight. You just need to slightly outperform your yesterday, every single day. The problem with being broke and doing nothing in your 20s isn't just the financial cost. It's that you're building an identity, and that identity becomes harder and harder to leave behind the longer you wear it. By 30, the person who spent their 20s doing nothing doesn't just have less money. They have less belief in themselves, less proof that they can do hard things. And that lack of proof, that's the real poverty. Here's something else nobody wants to say out loud. Your environment is making it worse. If everyone around you is broke and aimless, that becomes your normal. You don't feel the urgency. Because when you look left and look right, everyone's in the same position. So there's no friction, no mirror, nobody pulling you forward. And social media makes this even more distorted because you get to watch the highlights of people who are winning while living in the full behind the scenes of your own life. That's a rigged comparison, and it destroys motivation rather than building it. But here's the other side of that coin. The people you spend time with are either raising your average or lowering it. There's no neutral. If you're the most driven person in your friend group, that's a problem. Not because you should abandon your friends, but because you need to find rooms where you're not yet the smartest person there. Rooms where you're learning, where the standard is higher than what you're used to. Your 20s are the easiest time in your life to change your environment because you have the least to lose and the most to gain. You don't have a mortgage. You don't have kids. You don't have decades of identity wrapped up in where you live or what you do. Use that freedom before life slowly removes it. All right. So what do you actually do if you recognize yourself in any of this? First thing, stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes after you start moving, not before. So start before you feel ready, because you never will. Second, pick one financial habit and make it automatic. Even if it's 20 pounds a week into an ISA, it's not about the amount. It's about the identity. You are now someone who invests. That matters more than the number right now. Third, start building a skill that has a market. Something that compounds, whether that's coding, sales, content, trading, writing. Something that makes you more valuable over time. Not just consuming content about it, actually doing it. Fourth, get your body right. I know this sounds like a fitness video now, but bear with me. Your physical state directly determines your mental state. When you're training regularly, your discipline bleeds into every other area. It's not separate. It's the foundation. And fifth, and this is the most important one, stop telling yourself you're the exception, that you'll figure it out later, that things will work themselves out. They won't. Not on their own. The people you admire, the ones who seem to have it together at 30, they didn't stumble into that. They made quiet, unglamorous decisions in their 20s that most people weren't willing to make. And the gap between them and everyone else started long before anyone noticed it. Look, I'm not here to make you feel bad about where you are. If you're watching this and you feel a bit uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is information. It means something in you knows there's a bigger version of yourself that isn't being reached yet. The cost of wasted time in your 20s isn't just money. It's the version of you that never got built. The confidence you never earned. The life you never stepped into. But here's the thing. If you're watching this, you still have time to change the story. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need all the answers. You just need to make a slightly better decision today than you did yesterday. And then tomorrow. And then the day after that. That's it. That's the whole game. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more content on actually building something with your 20s, hit subscribe. I put out videos every week on money, mindset, and making the most of the time you've got.